What is going on? This is Shatoria with I Am Shatoria. And again, we are in a new season of I Am Shatoria podcast. I know we've been gone, but we are kicking back in. It is the month of November, and we're going to have a great time. I am not by myself today, so I'm really excited about this topic. And you guys know this is a place where we're absolutely open and honest and where we talk about everything. But we do everything, as I always say, with love and a whole lot of faith. So today I have one of my really, really good friends. You've actually seen in her husband from the Let's Rap group. And, you know, she's coming in doing her thing. She's individual and she is just bright as just the sunshine that it is. So I want to introduce you guys to someone. We're going to talk about purpose. And what our purpose and just self-care today. That's what we're going to talk about. So I want to introduce you to Kawana Coates out of the DMV area. She's out there living her best life. She has blessed my soul because she was with me when we were in for our I Am Forgiveness to Freedom retreat. So I am super dope to have her on with us. Season 4. Won't be the last time you see her. So I'm going to let her introduce herself and what she's doing. And then we're going to get into some questions and everything. So go ahead, ma'am. Introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I am Kawana Coates, as Shatoria just introduced me. I am a former engineer here in the DMV area. I recently left my job to pursue my purpose. I, was doing pretty well in my career, making really good money, but I wasn't feeling fulfilled. I wasn't excited to go to my job anymore. I was burned out and I just, wanted to try something new. So this is what I'm doing. I've kind of dedicated my life to finding my purpose, pursuing my purpose, and serving others. So that's pretty much what I do.
I find it to be real dope when you say you left because you felt like I'm not getting anything. And it's crazy because today I got my official retirement approval. And people are like, so you gonna leave the comfort? And I'm like, man, and people laugh because I said I want to be a teacher. And they're like, why? Like, there's no money in that, but I get so much comfort in that. Like, I get comfort in teaching and speaking to people, hence the podcast. That's what I love to do. So for you to just be like, hey, I'm doing this job, but this just ain't it. Like, what was that like push for you to say, yeah, I got to go? What was it?
What led up to it was I had, been getting into investing in real estate, and I was looking to increase my salary, and God was giving me everything I asked for. Like, anytime I asked for more, like, it was coming. But then I got to a point where I got this job opportunity, to be a part of another company, and they were paying me a lot of money, but they wanted me to have a ton more responsibility. And I could have did it, but I knew that it was going to be so taxing. And at that point, I was just like, it's not even, after a certain point, it's not even worth it anymore because it's going to take too much from me. And it was like I wasn't chasing money, but I was looking for more money. But with more money was coming more like
responsibility,
trouble and responsibility. And I was already, pretty much the lead at my job. So I was always on call. It was just a lot. And at that point, I'm like, I don't even really love this anymore. And I'm not going to want to give all of myself to my job just so I can have a really good salary. So at that point, I was just like, God, what is it that I'm supposed to do? And I knew that I wanted to do something more fulfilling. And I was thinking, I was like, if, I was just putting so much into my work, into my job, and it just wasn't fulfilling me anymore. I wasn't satisfied. And I just had to say I think they're magic words. How can I serve? Those 3, what is it? Yeah, 4 magic words for me, like, God, how can I serve? And I remember sitting at my kitchen table asking God that. And, I feel like he's been leading me down that path of how I can serve. And I've just kind of been following.
You like really messed me up because I won't lie. When you said those magic words, I'm about to be like, I quit. I'm done. But I was like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. But when you said, how can I serve? Like, I found it to be like the dopest. Don't be surprised when you see it on Facebook. I'm going to tag you. But that's like the dopest comment because we don't think about that. Like, we just you're like, I don't want this job, but I like how you say it. Like, that's like, that like literally touched my heart. Like, how can I serve? And I think a lot of us, we don't think about that. I love how you put that spin on it. Like that, that's about to be the new spin of, God, how can I serve? Where do you want me to serve at? Not, I can't do this job. I'm sick of this job. Because honestly, in the jobs a lot of us in, we're beginning to lose ourselves. And the biggest thing is, y'all know my slogan is, comfortable equals unsuccess. Because when we start to get comfortable, we can't grow because we comfortable. We good where we're at. And God is like, I can't use you. You're not serving because you don't want to expand. The other thing is, a lot of people don't have the faith to say, I'm just going to step out from this and go over here and do this. No, I'm not making the money that I did. No, I'm not making, I don't have the time that I did. But God is like, that's your calling. I won't lie. I knew it was time for me to go for the military. I know it is. But it's still that concept of hitting that button. And I'll never forget the day I hit the button. I was like, I'm hitting the button. And I was like, okay, cool. But today, to get that official congratulations, you're approved for retirement, it did something to me. It did something to the soul, because it was like 21 years. And now it's like this chapter is coming to an end. But with that being said, I can't get over the fact that you said, God, how can I serve? Like, I'm about to be sticking with that. Geez, you just really messed me up with that. Like, because we don't ask that.
And that's kind of what started the ball rolling. That actually wasn't when I left my job, but that kind of just started the ball rolling, because I just realized I was just kind of to myself, like as you know, and as I've said many times, I'm an introvert. And I had just started thinking, like, if I was to go today, who would be at my funeral? Like, whose life would I have been a light in? Whose life would I have touched? And it's like, and it's the Maya Angelou quote where she says, your legacy is every life you touch. And I'm like, God, I'm not touching enough lives. And that's when I just asked that question, how can I serve? And it's almost like, I don't know, it was like a turning point. And it's like God just started talking to me after that. Like,
just
started guiding me.
Feels right now. Oh my God. I have watched you come out of your introvert box, so I'm super proud of you, but I love how you was like, God, I need to touch lives. But to say, who would be at my funeral? Like, we always talk about getting our flowers now. That's one of the things that in my head is like, God, I want to be remembered for loving on people, touching people. I don't care about everything else. I want to be remembered as that person who loved people, who went out to do it. So for you to say, God, I need to do more because I feel like I'm just not, that's pretty dope, because a lot of people like being in a space. They don't like dealing with people. And the problem is they don't like dealing with people because they don't like dealing with people that are like them. They don't want to deal with the conflict of other people. And the sad part about it is people that is like me, I love people, so I have to deal with the conflict of other people. I have to deal with their mentality and all that. However, though, as my husband says, I take the hardest battles to do and deal with, like making macarons. Like my husband's like, you picked the hardest thing to do. But I get where you're at when you say, because I get where you're at when you say, touching lives, because being in the position that I am, everybody don't want you touching lives. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of the hardest things to do, to just walk in love with people. That's the hurt part about it, because you want to walk in love, you want to do right, but everybody got a piece, it's like, oh, I don't want you part of that type of situation. So I absolutely appreciate you being that open on that. With you stepping out on faith and you doing some other stuff. I'm guessing when you walked away from the job, I would say that you have goals, but you did, obviously, because you said, God, how can I serve? You tell me, Jesus, how can I serve? A lot of us don't do that. We have those goals that we have, but your goals are like different type of goals. I appreciate that. But when you see your goals and what you're trying to do, what do you see yourself?
So that's a funny question. Like, I've honestly been trying to figure that out all along the way because it's been changing. It's been evolving. Like in the beginning, it's just I want to help people. I want to be, leave an impact. That's how it started.
Mm-hmm.
And then the picture just started to get clearer and clearer. And it took me a while because, what God gave me was that He wants me to help change people's mindsets. Like I'm supposed to help people like wipe away those limiting beliefs that are holding them back from pursuing their purpose, helping them get over the trauma or the beliefs that they have that are keeping them from getting to their purpose. And so that's kind of what He revealed to me. But in the beginning, I'm like, I can't do that. I don't know anything about that. I have my own limiting beliefs. I'm not a communicator. I can't just go out and get people to do things. But he led me into, I learned a lot about psychology. I started studying things that I had never really gotten into in my whole life. But it was like, I was just being led down a path to the point where, I don't know, it's just always been evolving. And now I'm at a point where I'm getting into marketing, and the same things I learned about psychology are now applying to marketing. Like it's all been connected and working together. And I've honestly just been going where the Lord leads me, because I would have never been able to I never thought I would be at this point where I am now as far as my goals. So ultimately, my big goal is that I honestly want to work with a lot of like impactful leaders and help them get their message out. I want to serve as far as helping people to discover their purpose, discover their purposeful work that they can help people do, and then to just catapult them and their message into the world. My goal is to help as many people as possible, not just by myself, but by empowering others, or using marketing and sales to catapult others to reach their people that they're called to serve. That's kind of my vision, is just to build this army of light, is what I call it. Ooh. An army of light to go out and shine a light in the world.
Girl, is that the name of your business?
It's not the name of the business.
Okay. Did you get a name yet?
So the marketing side is, right now, it's impact maker marketing.
I hear light in here so here's the thing. I laugh because, for those that are listening and watching, you have, I literally laugh because I have my marketing brander. She does all of my branding and stuff like that. But I laugh when Wynn was like, hey, this is your team. And I won't lie, I was absolutely nervous because in my head, I was like, you brought all these people together, God, for Wynn to come back and say, this is the team. And I was like, how they really going to take that? But what I love about it, you guys embraced it because you saw what I was delivering. You saw, so you already doing what your passion is. You pushing out messages through us who are trying to make an impact in the world. So I appreciate you because I'm learning how to let go and listen to the leaders that God has put before me to say, Tori, do this. And so it's amazing because you're doing what you're called to do. You're impacting. I laugh when you was like, how we told Jay and everyone, like, no, you ain't no introvert no more. You're an extrovert with just introvert tendencies, because I feel like you are out there really pushing the narrative of, things that you need to do. And so I appreciate that because you're stepping out your comfort zone. Because you that behind the wall person. You like, I'm behind here.
Yeah.
I'm cool. And I love you and Phil relationship because Phil is like, I'm here. I'm here. You like, I'm behind here. How y'all doing? I'm just here. And now look at you. You're becoming your own person. You're coming Kawana Coates. In a way to where it touches hearts. Now, with you working on the brand and everything else, how do you see it going forward? Like, you got your goals and you're listening to God and you're making movements. How do you see it going forward? Like, you trying to hit states, you trying to be, international. What what is your thought process? Because if you think about a lot of us, and you said the magic word, you want to deal with people who are making impact. Why do you hit so hard on that word impact?
Wow. So I guess that started with me feeling like I wasn't making enough impact, right? So I got to a point where I wanted to make an impact. And so I don't know, I just feel like I like that question. It makes me think.
And I think I asked that question because
there's so many people having impact in negative ways.
That's it.
And it's like, I feel like we just need positive people who are leaders, who have had experiences in life, who have gained wisdom from their experiences in life, that can just reach those communities that are really, really like hurting and reach those communities that are hurting and need help. These are people that have been there. These are people that can lead them out. Like I had a teacher once say, who are you going to be Moses for? Who can you lead out of Egypt? And that, I feel like we all have that in us. Every single one of us is put here with that same purpose, to serve people and lead them out of their Egypt.
Girl, you like messing up with my whole soul right now. Like I'm not even messing with you. Like I hear you.
Yeah.
You got me in like on a whole. Yeah, like how? Because I've been on Moses right now. So for you to be like, how,
I knew you would like that.
Because I've been on Moses, and like I told you guys before, I am an Esther, a Hannah, and a Sarah. So to hear Moses and Lot, I've really been into that phase right now because, like you said, impact can come in one or two ways, negative or positive. It ain't no in between on that. So what are we doing? And like you said, we have more negative stuff coming out. That social media, like people love negativity, like they impacted all of that. But where's the positive people? Where's those who are willing to stand on that positive impact? Be like, I don't care if you don't like me. I'm making an impact somewhere. Point blank, period. So I love how you're like, look, I want to lead people, because the people really don't understand. Moses was getting people out of slavery.
Mm-hmm. And out of bondage.
Out of bondage. And we're going to be honest about it. In all nationality, they was fearful of what was ahead.
Yeah.
And that's a lot.
They had become comfortable. In the bondage.
To what they didn't want to leave anyway. They were like, we cool.
Exactly.
And when they got to that water, they were like, hold on now. See, this is what we talking about right here. You don't took us all the way out here to bring us here. What you about to do? And I love how he, as that impactful leader, had to have faith in what God had. Because the story with Moses really touches me, because I was like, wait, he was abandoned at 3 months, but he really wasn't abandoned. His mama was saving his life. And when he went to go live in his palace, he's like, yes, I'm a prince. And then he like, whoa, hold on. I'm really one of y'all. But let me help my own get to a place where they free. And the sad part, he took these individuals to a space. And I think about people these days, we're so trapped in our minds that just like those that left Egypt, they was in the wilderness for 40 years instead of 40 days because they was mentally trapped in what they felt. Like you said, I ain't making enough impact. So I'm comfortable here. I'm comfortable in this job. I'm comfortable. I was comfortable pulling them bricks and making them pyramids. That's what I was comfortable with doing.
Exactly. It was familiar. They knew that they knew where their help. They knew how when they were going to get their meals. They knew when everything was coming.
And not trusting.
But when you have to leave that, you have to trust. Exactly.
And so I appreciate you saying, because you had to step out on faith to leave a job. Like you said, it was paying some good money, but your mentality.
I can't believe I did it, to be honest.
Look at you now, girl. You was on that cliff and you was like, Jesus, here we go. We're going. But I appreciate, so you are what faith looks like for me. People laugh at me because on my social media, it says Shatoria Faith Christian. That is not my middle name. I should go legally change it. But that's who I am. And so I think about the name that I was given. I was given Shatoria. But I'm a faith person. I learned about faith at the age of 20 years old. Well, yeah, 20 years old. I started learning about faith March 2003, and it's become my staple. Faith is one of those things to where I believe in mustard seeds. I believe in the faith of crossing that Red Sea, despite the fact, not saying I didn't have my days. So when I see you, I'm like, man, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody who is like, I got to step out on it. I got to jump.
Yeah.
And I love it because I need people to hear you when they're listening to this and they go back to it and go, she left a whole job, paying her money. However, though, you wasn't getting fulfilled. That's the deepest thing you can ever say. You wasn't getting fulfilled. That's in anything, relationships. And we ain't talking about just marriages. We're talking about friendships. If it's not fulfilling and God is like, that is not where you're supposed to be, why are you there? And like you said, it's the comfort. If you can give any advice to people about, because you really had to be in faith to do what you did. So if you can give any advice to people, what would it be?
My biggest thing is just know that there is something in you. There's something in your story. There's something in your uniqueness. Like a lot of people might say, oh, well, I'm not special, but there's something in like the story, the life that you've led that somebody else, really, it's for other people to see themselves in you. And if you step out on faith, then they can step out on faith because you showed them how to do it. So just believe that there's something inside you that people want. Just like when Jay was talking, at the event, at the retreat, that story that he brought out that day, you know how many people are going through that same thing. Yeah. And I've talked to him about this. People need to hear our stories because then they can believe that there's something more possible for them. And I think if more people can just get comfortable, be more vulnerable, be more willing to share, all the things that they're fearful of, all the things that they want to hide, just share it with the right people. I remember you saying something earlier about, sometimes you don't want to have to deal with other people's problems. And I was thinking of something at the time, we're not actually called to solve everybody's problems, right?
Amen.
You're called to the people that you're called to, the people that you love to serve, the people that inspire you, that keep you moving forward. You know what I mean? So that's another thing. You don't necessarily have to serve everybody. You serve your people. You find your people and you serve them as powerfully as you possibly can.
I love every bit that you're saying. I think that this word definitely needs to be out. I think you hit like nail on head. I'm super excited to see the business grow. I pray and believe in my heart that business is just about to flourish your way. People is going to need you to be that face of pushing them, because people is going to hear this and people's going to be like, dang, if she can do that, I can do that. And I love every bit of that. And I thank you for leaving that with people to hear, because we ain't got to be long-winded for somebody to get something from us. And so I appreciate that, because my goal has always been, as God, for people not to see me, to see him. I'm not doing the work for myself. I'm doing the work because that's what God called me to do. And I had to learn during this conference that God needed my yes. And to finally give that, when I say clarity has been something, like you said, how things just started like go. I'm like, oh, Jesus, I see that. And I see power in what's coming through and what's coming. So I can't wait to see the businesses, the teams that are coming from people, the people who are growing just off of people releasing, just like Jay, just like you, just like D, people releasing, saying, I got it. Let me tell you my story. So I appreciate you for that. So I really appreciate you taking your time out today to come and hang out with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So you guys, if you want to hear more from Kawana, look here. The conference that she's talking about was the second annual I Am Forgiveness to Freedom Retreat. Third annual is up and popping. Tickets are selling. We have not yet announced speakers. Trust me, they are coming. I plan to do that announcement in December, so be ready. But I advise you to get your tickets because we only have 100 seats. That is it. That's all. So we're doing 20 VIP and 80 general. So get your seats. Go on my website at imshatoria.com where you can see not only this podcast and my past podcast, but you can see some pictures and some things from the I Am Shatoria Forgiveness to Freedom Retreat as we are, definitely gearing up for year 3, which I got to say, man, year 2 was dope with y'all. We had a great time. We would love to see you guys' faces. For those that are watching, you see my white ribbon. You guys know what it is. For those who have listened to me the last 2 years, it is November 1st, and we are celebrating Lung Cancer Awareness Month. You guys know how I feel about lung cancer awareness. If you are watching, you see the picture behind me of my mother, my grandmother, and me and my daughter, as my mother and my grandmother both passed from lung cancer. So you guys know my hashtag, hashtag I breathe for you. So if you do not, I know many of you've already sent in names. I got about 31 names. If you have not sent in your names, and I will definitely do a dedication to them, hashtag I breathe for you. You guys also know this is the month where I will be talking about Julian Fletcher. He appeared on our show 2 years ago as our Thanksgiving special. His video will be back again. As you guys know, for those who do follow me, he passed December of 2020 from lung cancer at the age of 27. So I am to this day grateful for his testimony, because if you guys remember, he talked about exactly what Kawana is talking about, is living our purpose. This young man was 27 years old, living his purpose, making music and everything else still. So soon enough, you're going to be hearing from his family. I cannot wait for that. The Fletcher family, who I love so much. I'm so excited about seeing them again. But remember, November is our Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and we talk about Mental Health Month here as well, because you guys know it's holiday time. So we do not take lightly of that. So if you need a little boost me up, come to this one and go listen to some past ones that we had about self-care and self-love. Trust me, we got some more coming this week. Some things I will be doing by myself, talking about some things, talking about what 2022 has been like. But I would love to see you, like I said, in the I Am Forgiveness to Freedom. That will be coming up in I'm about to say San Antonio. We just did San Antonio. Oklahoma City, 2023, September 30th. We'd love to see you guys. Thank you as always. Do know that you can see this podcast and other podcasts at iamshatoria.podbean.com. You can also catch us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Pandora. You can catch us on a whole lot of those stations, Amazon. And also you can always go to the iamshatoria.com to look at events that we got coming up. And just to get an inspirational box, a hoodie, the hoodies are coming back with the I am with your name or whatever you want to put there shirt that we do have on sale. Do know that we love you guys. As I always say, we walk in love, we walk fearlessly, and we walk in a whole lot of faith. Thank you for joining us. I love you guys. Talk to you later.